Good morning, everybody. It looks like the sound levels on my side are good. If you guys could give me a 5x5, that would be super duper. Today we're going to be talking about Iran. We're going to be talking about the military buildup that is very evident and very pre-planned and very strategic, and does not appear to be in any way, shape, or form. We'll just move a bunch of stuff around. So we're going to talk about that and how it's going to affect us here in the United States. Frankly, it won't really do a lot of stuff. Obviously, there's some sleeper cell worries, things like that. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and knock it out. Fishing Guy first, Debbie Channel. Number 2, West Virginia Pappy, you're deterred. We also have Tim Huther and Deanna in here. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like we got a sleeper in there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Someone's asleep in. That's okay. That's okay. So let's go ahead and open it with this. As usual, we'll just start off with some of the very simplified stuff.
The U.S. military is preparing for potential operations with Iran if President Trump orders an attack. Iran's top diplomat has arrived in Geneva ahead of what's being described as indirect talks with the U.S. tomorrow. For more, let's bring in CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata. He joins us now from our Washington bureau. So, Charlie, you've been speaking with people about these U.S. preparations. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Lindsay's speaking with them every day, sometimes several times a day. to try to figure out what, from a military standpoint, what the game plan is. So there have been reports over the weekend, I can confirm those, that the United States could be preparing for a prolonged conflict. Of course, the United States is preparing for a prolonged conflict because the United States military prepares for any contingency, best case scenario to worst case scenario. And I'll tell you, there's nothing better than the Pentagon for preparing for worst case scenario. So the way it was described to me is you look at it as tiers. There are a number of targets, sort of surgical strikes that the United States, if President Trump decides and the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Pentagon and Secretary Hegseth decide that this is the plan to take, surgical strikes within the regime itself, or you would take out missile launchers, or you would go after Iran's nuclear facilities, but you have to be prepared for retaliation. So if you really want to tell for what's going on there, you look at the Lincoln aircraft carrier that's been there for a few weeks, and it was ordered there because of the tensions rising in Iran. It's actually unique for that area, Central Command, CENTCOM, to not be without a carrier. Well, now there's a second one, and this is a significant move because they're moving the USS Gerald R. Ford from the Caribbean, where it was already extended. In fact, it's on, I think, its second extension now. Wow. So by the end of whatever this is, if it were to turn, as the military terms it, kinetic, that they would actually be engaged in a fighting war with Iran, you're looking at a carrier that is certainly looking down the barrel of one of the longest deployments, peacetime deployments for decades. So that suggests that you're going to have two carriers in the region, a number of F-18 fighter jets, F-35 fighter jets that comes with, a number of destroyers, because it's not just a carrier, but destroyers with guided missiles on there. So you are talking about a package that is preparing for the worst, and not only preparing to strike Iran, but preparing for the defense of U.S. forces in that area.
Well, Charlie, we appreciate your reporting as always. Thank you so much.
I don't even remember turning that button off. Anyway, so let's see here. Let's thank you very much, guys. Hey, what's up, Sean? So I'm going to regard. I'm going to go do it all again. What I was talking about was this was the best one to show you guys because it wasn't far left or far right. It was very succinct. It was very straightforward type of stuff. And if you can hear me now, give me a 5x5 because you should, because I pushed that little red button right there. Anywho, what I was literally talking about also was my microphone. I found a special setting inside of Windows that can change, like brings up the levels. So if I sound clear now and not far away, let me know in the chat. It'd be greatly appreciated. Because when I go back and listen to the live streams from Monday, I did sound like kind of far away. I didn't sound up close, even though I'm this close to the microphone. Man, my throat is really messed up this morning. The second thing is after I make a live stream, what YouTube is doing is they're going back and they're adding mid rolls. They're adding mid rolls. I don't like it. They're doing it like every, Jesus, 4 or 5 minutes. It's crazy. So I have to wait until that's processed. So if you were having to watch those commercials during as the replay crew, I apologize, but I am going back in just as soon as that video is done being processed and getting rid of those mid rolls. I am actually doing that. It's crazy. What they're leaving behind when it's kind of like, hey, you're done with this, so we'll just kind of no one will ever know. It's crazy. Let's see here. Dems will scream no new wars. Yeah, they will, but I think it's. I don't think that's gonna carry a lot of weight, and I don't think that's gonna carry a lot of weight because if that were the case, hold on one second, guys. If that were the case, then I think they would be doing it right now, because that right now all they want to talk about is Epstein. That's all they want to talk about. And you're going to find out that that is a sticking point globally. Epstein and ICE. And I think that they're scared to talk about anything else, because then they're going to sound like a bunch of crybabies. Tim made it back. I didn't know you were gone, Tim. Where'd you go, man? Because it's just going to make them sound like a bunch of crybabies. Now they just got something else to complain about. But it will also take away from that push. And Epstein and ICE are the new Russia, Russia, Russia. And those are their main talking points, and they want to stick to that. So I don't know that we're going to get a lot out of that. Here's what I will also tell you about this pending thing with Iran. You don't move that much assets around, okay? Just cause. The only way that something doesn't go down, in my opinion, based off of my 33 years in the Department of Defense, is that we get what we want. You know what I'm saying? They're still negotiating. There's rumors all over the place about the negotiations falling out. It's absolutely crazy. There is so much fake news out there. It's crazy stupid. It's crazy stupid, you know. Let's see here. Tim says, please don't disappoint me. Have to leave and come back. Didn't have audio. I got you. No, that was my fault, Tim. My audio quit working. Where's the goal? The goal for who? For the United States? Well, you know, I hate to say it, but I think the goals of the United States are something just happened, guys. So I clicked something on my headset and this thing just did some weird stuff. I don't know. We're gonna hopefully everything is still okay. There's buttons on this headset. It's actually pretty high end, and I just accidentally clicked one. Anyway, I think the goal, Iran has been a thorn. Where's the gold? Okay. I mean, I don't turn those on every time. Let's go super chat goals. We're gonna go $5. We're gonna do 1 hour. Keep the lights on! Exclamation point. There we go. Starting goal. Come on, there we go. All right, now the goal is active. There you go, Tim. You asked for it, you get it. But it's still a solid question. It's still a solid question. I believe our goals here are just to, I hate to say it, but regime change. Tim, thank you very much. I appreciate you, bro. Everybody make sure you give Tim a thumbs up. Iran has been a thorn in the side for the United States since the Islamic Revolution. They just celebrated it. I want to say it was like 70 years ago, but I'm guessing maybe we'll show some other stuff. Tim, thank you again, my friend. Everybody you guys better be giving Tim these thumbs up. Quit slacking. I know we got a couple of listeners in here because they're in work, but I mean, come on, it's just a thumb, right? But I think that the goal is to bring Iran, not to bring Iran down, but to bring Iran into the modern world. Because with the not done yet, you're just never done, are you, Tim? It would be nice. You know what? I'm going to do something here. I've shown people this before, but I don't know. I got to make sure I get the right thing. Iran in the 1970s. We're going to do that. I probably need to use a zero instead of an O. All right, and go to images and make sure that we. All right, so these all look pretty safe. All right, so let's do that. I want to show you guys something here. If you've never seen this before, oh Tim, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. These are images of Iranians in the 1970s. Okay, got to finish strong. Okay. All right, we met our goal, Tim. We met our goal. All right, so these are images of Iran in the 1970s. These are pretty amazing pictures. These were women going to school. Gee, they look really a lot like pictures of America in the 1970s. It's pretty. There you go, 1971, 2022. They had the what they call the Islamic Revolution, okay, and Iran was tracking along. They were actually our please say happy birthday to me and wish me luck for my county legislator. Yes, well, happy birthday, Tim. Hopefully you're not too old today. Happy birthday to you. And yes, wish me luck for my county legislator in November. So if you guys didn't know this, Tim is running for county legislator. I think you're up there near Buffalo, right, Tim? Yeah, then he won't have time for us anymore. He'll be like, you little people. I'll remember the little people when I get there. But no, Tim won't do that to us. Yeah, definitely. So when is that election, Tim? When is that election? You're 53. You're 53 today. Well, okay, that's good. That's good. You're still young. You're still a young man. I mean, I'm not much older than you, to be honest with you. But and this is a picture of what the Iranian Revolution looked like. Yeah. Niagara County. I got you. Yeah, these guys look a lot like Cubans, don't they? I always remember where I came from. Good. You know, these images. You know, so there was this massive change in Iran. You know, life after the 1970s. I think we can probably look at that, but I don't know if that's going to be who is running that, because I might have to stop it. Oh, that's the Times News. We can run that for like a minute. Come on now. Come on, video. Come on, video. Everybody tell Tim happy birthday. You got to do this stuff. Right.
Revolution, which is, considering what the regime has done in the last 40 years, is completely normal.
That's amazing. All those vehicles were like rolling around.
People forget that before the revolution, there was still corruption, still political prisoners. There was.
Which was Polo, my favorite. Arrests started. Schools were closed. We became refugees in the sense that we had nothing. Everything we had was in Iran.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I don't want to get a copyright strike on this. So, guys, I'm going to put this in the chat and go and watch it later. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's really important that remember that people remember like what really happened, where they were like advancing so rapidly. I mean, we were giving them F-14 Tomcats and Cobra gunships. They were our allies in the Middle East, you know. And then that happened, and then the Ayatollah Khomeini, the Islamic Revolution, where they pushed everything back and said, no, we're everything is too colorful. We need to like go deep, dark Islam. And that's what started all of this in the Middle East, because before this, there weren't all these problems, you know. So the Islamic Revolution in Iran has a lot to do with current geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, as well as a lot of the wars. In fact, they went to war with Iraq over this crap. Now, Iraq did kick their ass. I will tell you that. They did kick their ass, but it is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and get on point, because today's supposed to be about War Wednesday. Excuse me. Yeah, I made it up. So what? You want to fight about it? All right, so the next thing, this is one of the better pictures that obviously I don't think that you're going to see the location of ships on MS Now or whatever. So we're throwing that up there. And basically what we're doing is we're looking at the location, not the location of, but the positioning of naval assets in the Middle East. Now, we've got what is it? We've got another carrier. I'll show it to you in a second here. That is moving into the Mediterranean, and it's just like, yeah, whatever. There's not a lot here, right? But we do have, we've got the Abraham Lincoln. This is a Nimitz-class nuclear-powered carrier, so it can stay there, basically sitting out there forever. We've got the Gerald Ford, which is on its way. There are reports of it being near the Rock of Gibraltar like about 19 hours ago. And then people kind of forget about when you send a carrier strike group out, what basically happens is there are lots of support vessels that are designed to protect that carrier. And so you've got, currently we've got, if you see DDG on stuff, that is a guided missile cruiser, which means it has Tomahawk missiles. And we've got the Peterson, the Murphy, and the Spruance. And there's other ones out there, additional independent destroyers. These aren't guided missile. Where are we at here? You got the Mishner, the McFall, the Roosevelt, the Buckley, and there's probably a couple. There's where we got Pickney is out there, and then you've got the Delbert J. Black is floating out there, and then we've also got those littoral combat ships that we're getting ready to decommission, which is hilarious. You got the Canberra, the Tulsa, and the Santa. And the reason those guys are there is because they're reasonably modern. They do have cruise missile capability. It's very limited, but it's there. And the thing is they can get into really shallow water if they have to. And there's probably anywhere from 4 to 7 ships that are not accounted for in the area because people just don't need to know. Now, the one thing that they never talk about are the submarines. Yeah, how many submarines are out there? Well, they never say how many accompany these strike groups, okay? But I'm here to tell you right now that they're there. They're there. You know what I'm saying? There's probably nuclear-capable ones floating out in the Mediterranean, long way away, not even having to worry about stuff. And then you've got your hunter-killers, which are out there protecting the fleet. There's probably a handful of them easily inside of the strike groups. So just be aware that those little blips on the map, those little yellow blips on the map are not representative of what is actually there as far as naval power. So this is a pretty substantial naval buildup. Now, on the air side, which we'll hit here in a second, it's kind of there. But what I'm seeing is a buildup of logistical support for aviation assets for a prolonged attack, or prolonged offensive. Maybe we'll call it a special exercise. But it is what it is. Where are we at here? Grumpy. Hey, Grumpy, good to see you, bro. And if you guys got stuff to talk about, put it in the chat, and we'll talk about that too. The Iranian Revolution and the Taliban are two anti-Soviet attack dogs that got away from the CIA. Yeah, likely. Question, if we do attack, is this a new war that Trump started, or is he just finishing one that started October 23rd, 1983? That's a tough question, man, because I never really thought about it that way, but maybe that's what he's thinking. You know what I'm saying? We struck him before. They didn't call the left tried to call it a war. We're like, no, this was a limited strike, blah, blah, blah. It's funny because I have not heard, it's almost like the left wants, I hate to say this, but we're kind of living now in the age of, we don't care what you think. We don't care what you say. We've got Supreme Court decisions that are being completely ignored on the Second Amendment front. We have congressmen that are blatantly violating their oaths. And it's kind of like, it's almost like if you're in a fight and the guy wants to play dirty, okay, fine, we're going to play dirty, good to go, But the truth is, in a fight, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And I think what is happening is they're going to scream, no new wars. And West Virginia Pappy was the first one to say that. But like I said, I don't think that they're going to, there may be a couple like, the little weasel dude who got his hair patches and he was wearing his bandana forever, But what is it? Would this fall under the war on terror? So not a new war. Yeah. See, here's the thing. I think if we go down that road, West Virginia Pappy, that we're just arguing semantics. We're just like, he said, she said, or looking for the next technicality. You know what I'm saying? No boxing match or MMA fight wants to win on a technicality. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the use of force. It's the use of force. A war is the last way to get what you want when you run a country. Okay, I wanted to break that down and make it as simple as possible. When all negotiations break down, the use of force is last thing. And there's always going to be someone who's going to say, we're in the right. And the other's going to be like, we're in the right. Everybody thinks they're the freaking hero. And even if, and look at all the pressure that we've been putting on NATO and Europe, even with all of that, people might start to think that, not just orange man bad, but the ugly American, which we lived through in the 80s. That's not a joke. We couldn't even go into some other countries and, it's, oh, I'm Canadian, So it's, I think we're just, and it's fruitless to argue technicalities in situations like this. So, but yeah, so there's a little picture there. Let's and I've actually been using Grok, not like in the AI mode, but in just the news gathering mode. So it looks like the U.S. Gerald R. Ford strike group, as of 2 hours ago, is already nearing the Straits of Gibraltar. So that means that, I hate to say this, and I actually put the poll. We put the poll in there. It's up to you guys. You answer how you want, what you feel about it. I said, will we attack Iran this weekend? I'm not telling you my answer yet. I already know the answer. I already know these things based off of military doctrine and capabilities. There's a picture of it's Alpha Morocco. Yeah, Alpha Morocco. But and I think that is, I hate to say this, guys, but once that bad boy's in position, that's the linchpin right there. That's the piece that they're waiting for. Now everybody's kind of focused on naval forces. Obviously, they kind of forget that you've got it's a carrier strike group. So there's a lot of aviation assets, but a significant amount of aviation assets have been moving around. This defense Greek. This guy is he's pretty on top of all of this stuff. And what we're seeing is, as of, what is this, the 16th, there was, I think there were 35 F-35 strike, or what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 F-35As. Those are the Air Force variants, so those are not Marine. And obviously, they've got their KC-135s. They put Stratotanker on everything. I don't know why. It's strategic tanker, strategic air tanker, Stratotanker. There's a lot of aviation assets that are moving around. These E-3G Sentries, these are AWACS. Then we got other tankers, and we've got some the F-15C. These that aren't even Vipers. These are the C variants. These are old aircraft. So these are basically reserve aircraft. But they're still, they keep them upgraded and shit. So it's, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically an entire squadron plus. We got Tabor. These are call signs, and Ferret. So basically a squad, looks like 2 squadrons moved over to Europe. What do we got over here? We got these. This is another tankers. We've got the F-22s. We'll need that to maintain air dominance. And these guys can easily shut down half of Iran all by themselves. We got some more F-15s or F-16s moving in. We got some more tankers moving in. Lots of tankers. It's so we've got a significant amount of Air Force assets moving in there. But what you're not seeing are the logistical pieces. Okay, and those logistical pieces are going to be. You've probably seen, let's scroll down here. Like I said, normally Defense Geek has got his trash in one bag. More tankers. What do we got here? Free Iran, blah, blah, blah. What do we got over here? What's this one? More strato tankers. These are all strato tankers that are moving in that area. And I'll be honest with you, it's actually very high. We got the AWACS starting to move around a little bit. AWACS are probably one of the last things that move into the area because they've got to make sure that they have complete air dominance and to be able to protect that thing. Got some Raptors moving around. What is this? Is this another tanker thing? Yeah, no more tankers. And then, some of this information just isn't useful. So I kind of scroll past it. But, as you can see, there's stuff that's moving around. Now, the fact that they're letting us see this, is pretty significant. They want everyone to see what they're doing. Not to trick them, but to let them know we're coming. We're on our way. We are not being stealthy about this. We're not being sneaky about this. When and where we do decide to strike, those packages, they're already lit up. We're just moving all the chess pieces right now. And so they're letting everybody know that they've got their transponders turned on, and they're doing some magical stuff. It looks like we got some E3Gs that are moving around here. I've observed from the U.S. to Europe. There we go. This one's in Elmendorf and RAF Mitterhall in the U.K. So all the pieces are being positioned. This is just some exercise crap. All the pieces are being positioned so that if we want to do something, then we're going to be able to do it. Now, here's the thing, guys. I don't believe that we're just... Our history with Iran and their negotiators is very, very simple. We say, we would really love you to stop enriching uranium. They say, we're not really doing that. And then we find out that they are doing that. And so that escalates to, well, we're a country and we're going to do what we want to do. And then we tell them, listen, you're mean at it, you're angry, you're mad at everybody, and you're this uncontrollable little child that lashes out at people, and you can't be running around saying America's the great Satan and we're going to kill everybody and we want to wipe Israel off the map, and simultaneously enrich past the 35% needed for a nuclear power program, okay? And then like, oh, we're not doing that. And then we find out you are doing that. So it's like there's this track record of they're trying to pretend that they're the good guy, that they're on the side of good, and that they're never going to be a problem. They're just this country out there trying to make itself a great place. And in reality, they're just not. And so I think that, it's one of the things that really stink, and we may run across it, is what we're seeing is regurgitated statements from the Iranian government about different things. One of them is you can't be coming to a negotiation table already knowing what you want. That's where you're wrong. That's the whole purpose of negotiating. We already know what we want. When you enter in a negotiation, there are two known facts. One, you know what you want to happen, and two, you are prepared to walk away if things don't go your way. They don't seem to understand that. They don't seem to understand that that's the way you actually negotiate, because they were so used to, I hate to say it, but specifically under the Obama administration, they were very used to just like laughing at the Obama negotiators. They're on record. They would just laugh at him. They would leave and shake their hand and say, "Oh, things were great. Yes, we're the best of friends." And then while they're on the plane, they're literally just like, "These people are stupid. We're going to walk we just do whatever we want to do, And it's very disheartening that these kind of people actually think that everything is okay, that it's okay to act like that, It's a problem. It's a problem. And, now they're doing a little bit of saber rattling, and which we're going to cover here in a second. But right now we've got 8 votes, and the question is, will we attack Iran this weekend? 62% say yes, 38% say no. I will tell you that has changed. I was going to talk about it earlier, but I really wanted to see what people were doing, Abobo negotiations were a joke. There you go. Tim says, it sounds like we're ready to shut down airspace, but ground troops going to move in and take over assets on the ground. No, I don't think we can expect that. Will the F-47 have a role in this? No, West Virginia Pappy. The F-47 is still underdeveloped. That thing is not even, it's a concept. It's a concept. That's why you keep getting all these shadowy views. And there was like a couple of AI generated videos of what it might look like. No, it's a concept aircraft. So let's see here. West Virginia Pappy said, I like Trump makes the world uncomfortable. Complacency bleeds trouble. Yeah, exactly. If your enemy thinks that they can just lurk in the shadows, or worse, if your enemy thinks that they can operate in the open, then they're not scared of you. And I hate to say it, but I foresee like a midnight, message from the president. It won't be. I hope he does it from the Resolute desk. I don't know. But I also know too, there's something else that we need to think about too. Let me check the date on that. Tend to skip it. 17 hours ago. All right, let's see here. What to know before the speech? The State of the Union is coming up. I should have just asked it, like when is the State of the Union speech? Okay, just give me an answer. Just give me a freaking answer. All right, so February 24th at 9 p.m. He may wait until after that. Okay. It's Democrats' plan to counter Trump's State of the Union speech with a rally. It's like, I really, I hate to say it, but I really don't think these people understand how much they don't matter anymore. They just don't matter anymore. So let's go ahead and look at where we at here. We're going to look at, we did that already. Now, believe it or not, you can actually look at stuff that the Iranian government is putting out. This one right here, this is Iran Daily News. And let's see here. This one's actually pinned, This is unbearable. I stand with the people of Iran, from the Daily News Iran. Where are we at here? Gibraltar tomorrow, currently located off of Morocco. Let's see, maximum speed towards the Middle East and is expected to cross the Strait of Gibraltar by tomorrow. Well, they're already there. And then they've been having these weird explosions that they can't explain. Nobody seems to know. Israel's Channel 14, the arrival of the fearsome F-22 fighter jets to the region means an official declaration of war. Yeah, so, what you needed to remember when you talk about Iran and how they speak state, like from the state, it literally is the way I see it. When we were in the Persian Gulf War, they were like, the desert will turn red with the blood of the infidels. Bum bum bum. Oh no, we're gonna. Yeah, what happened? Oh, we kicked your ass. Yeah, and so it's the same. It's all talk. It's the sabers of this, that, and the other thing. This one is interesting, right? Iranian hackers claim they have videos of President Trump with minors threatening to release them if the U.S. attacks Iran, now going viral on social media. Well, if these videos are going viral on social media, then how are they claiming they have videos and they're threatening to release them? Yeah, maybe not very realistic. Maybe a bunch of bull. Maybe it's just a bunch of bull. Hey, Rush, good to see you, man. Let's see here. Rush says, I think we will wait a few more weeks. No, I think it's going to happen a little faster than that. The timeline for that carrier strike group to move through the Mediterranean up into around Israel is about trying to remember how fast we moved. I mean, if a lot of times it's all about how fast the biggest ship can go, and we're not going to even talk about that. But easily 4 days. So that would put them in a position, and that carrier strike group is the last piece. That is the checkmate piece right there. So when Rush says when the Ford gets there, I believe that'll be then. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it could easily be, we could put a date on it. We could say Sunday. These things traditionally happen on weekends because there's more people drinking beer and chasing ass than there are people paying attention to the news. Tim says, if the government is shut down, can we initiate war without Congress since Congress will be out of session? Ooh, that's a great question. Tim, that is a great... You guys know I love my buddy Rex. Let's see. Rock. I'm trying to only do this like on Mondays, but that is a great question that I don't have the answer to. Rex, are you there?
Cool. Catch you soon.
No. Wake up. I got a question for you.
I'm awake. Hit me.
Okay,
What's up?
So Tim has a question for you, and Tim asks if and we're talking about the United States attacking Iran, and we're talking about timelines. So his question is, if the government is shut down, our U.S. government is shut down, can we legally initiate war without Congress since Congress will be out of session? Did we break him?
Good question. Let me think this through quick. No. A government shutdown doesn't stop the president from starting military action, like against Iran, without Congress. Legally, it's the same either way. The Constitution gives Congress the power to declare war, but presidents have done limited strikes or ops for decades without it, like Trump did back in June 2025 on Iran's nuclear sites. No declaration, no full vote, just executive call. The War Powers Resolution says he has to notify Congress within 48 hours, but it doesn't block him up front. Shutdown? Congress still exists. They can convene if they want, even without funding. Members aren't furloughed like staff. They keep working, pass laws, authorize force if they hustle back. But in practice, presidents don't wait. Military keeps running on existing funds. Defense ops are essential, so no shutdown halts jets or missiles. Tim's not broken, just the system's messy. Presidents bend rules, Congress grumbles later. If it's big enough, they might sue or cut funds after. But starting, yeah, they can.
Okay, so we're going to turn him off a little bit. Where were we? We were here, I believe. Yes, we were here. So yeah, it's actually what I expected. Yeah, that's quick. Yeah, he was kind of thinking a little hard there. I mean, network involvement, something, but yeah, that's the answer that I actually expected. A special session, I mean, that's a possibility. That's normally a state thing more than a federal thing, but they could just convene it if they wanted to. They could, you know, I can guarantee that the liberals will be like demanding to reopen, to demanding that we, you know, have a session, and you know, elections have consequences. So awesome, no waiting necessary. Yeah. I mean, he's got to notify him that he did it within 48 hours, but he doesn't have to give them any heads up whatsoever, which I think is great. And then you've got what was that? Oops says Oops is talking about the War Powers Act, which means he's got 90 days. He can operate for 90 days before he has to get permission to continue operations. But, you know, we see this is happening so rapidly that we don't even need that amount of time. We don't even need that amount of time. That's why the left wants to get rid of the War Powers Act, because they see that the president can operate so rapidly, and they don't have time to play. To stop him, basically. Yeah, Tim's not broken. Yeah, no, that was me talking. It's difficult because if I turn the mic off, then so that he doesn't hear me, then you guys don't hear me. So I have to like kind of sit here and play quiet. Okay, so we got the hackers saying they got some stuff here. You know, it's, you know, they love to like make their own moto videos and stuff. You know, we've got some explosions in the mountainous area near the Shiraz, the city of Shiraz in the south of the country. More airplane. They're even using this insane amount of U.S. Air Force tanker movement over Europe right now, heading toward the Middle East. War is inevitable. The daily Iran news is saying war is inevitable. Now, sir, there's some concerns. I think that this is just a show, to be honest with you. If you guys didn't know that Russia is an ally of Iran. Now, they're not like, we've got stuff written down, and if something goes bad, you'll come help us kind of allies, you know, like Article 5 type stuff. They're just like friends, you know what I'm saying? And there was actually, am I broken? Stray Kitten, what's going on, lady? Haven't seen you in a while. I wonder if Hillary Clinton financed the Iranian hackers. Grumpy, you and I know this is total bull. This is just whatevers. You know what I'm saying? This is just, hey, let's just tell them we've got this, or let's just tell them we can do this, that, and the other thing. It's crazy. And then now this is just as too old. I guess the next thing is we've got some more Iranian stuff here, the Iranian military monitor, and they have assets. I'm not going to say they're significant. But I will tell you that they have assets. Most of them are underground or protected in some way, shape, or form. We can see this. This is their big claim to fame right now. The big, no, I don't want to reply to that. I wanted to stop. Pause. There we go. You know, so you've got the Islamic leader of Iran. He's their religious leader. He pretty much runs the country. He says they keep saying they have sent warships towards Iran. Very well. A warship is a dangerous system, but more dangerous than a warship is the weapon that can sink the warship into the depths of the sea. And this is Imam Khomeini from what, yesterday? Today? What is today? The 18th? Yesterday. He keeps saying this over and over and over and over and over, like they have some kind of magical weapon that's going to take out a carrier. Is this possible? I don't know. But I also think that half of me is like, they're dumb enough to try it. And if they were to succeed, they would be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? But the other half is like, if they were to be able to do that, yeah, full on, that's it. Scorched earth, we're done. You know, and I think I don't think that they really want that. Where are we at here? Western media is claiming that Iran has agreed to suspend uranium enrichment and transfer its nuclear stockpiles abroad. Are completely false. I will not abandon enrichment even in the event of war, and will maintain control of its nuclear reserves. Nuclear reserves? What? That sounds like a weapon. Talking about some missile testing going on over here, some ridiculous emotional crap, beautiful weapons to drown them, talking about sinking stuff again, you know, and then it kind of starts to get a little deep and a little bit crazy. They were actually like, they made this effigy, right, of the great Satan. Stand with Iran against the great Satan. So they actually made this effigy of this demon, right, and then like burned it, because that's what, there it is right there. That's what they do. That's them. They actually made this and then set it on fire, you know. And if you guys don't know, Baal is in the book says like a demon, and believe it or not, there was a sect of people, the Baalians, who worshipped Baal, and they were also Israelites. And so this is the big claim, right, of how Israel is the devil. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty crazy. There's no Baalians left in the world. This was something that was like 2,000 years ago. People are not running around, you know, doing that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? What we got here? It's just, this stuff is actually difficult to, you know, it's like, oh, so this one dude, he's just going to see standing against, where we got here? America, Israel, the European Union. You know, it's all effigy. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty crazy, but that's the way it is. And you know, they did just happen to have like this right here. I had this checked out. It's a real video. 26 million Iranians participate in rally celebrating anniversary of Islamic Revolution, according to Fars news agency. But according to Pahaz News, Iran regime has murdered 90 million Iranians during protests, and then imports 26 million from Iraq and Lebanon to join the rallies. I don't know. It's hard to believe any of that crap. It's so hard to believe any of it. I mean, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. You know, 47 years of resisting against the devils. Long live the Islamic Republic of Iran. Yeah, I'm not buying it, man. I'm just not buying. There's not that many stupid people on the planet. Oh, and this is the new commander of the Republican Guard. So he's a tough guy. I feel sorry for this guy because when everything gets destroyed, that he's responsible for like being the hand of God. You know what I'm saying? The chosen one. When everything gets destroyed, he's the one who's going to be the guy they're going to put in the noose. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here. I'm going to take a look at the chat here. Friday night where everything is buried in the news. That's true. That's true. He is stumped. Yeah, that's quick. Special session. Oh, you're talking about this. Tim is broken. Where are we at here? West Virginia Pappy says, I worry about sleeper cells here if we take action. Yeah, I mean that's a logical that's a logical concern, you know, because we have to think about how will these actions affect us here in America. We have to. Is it possible? Yes. Is it in the realm of probability? Yes. But to what extent is the real question. Also, security in America is very different than it was on 9/11. Very different. People look at things differently. People question things. And I just don't think it would be... I think the second that something were to be lit off electronically, that, you know, our law enforcement, our federal law enforcement, are probably all over it like stink on shit. Let's see here. Grumpy says, we know that they Muslims have imported Arab Muslims for their security forces. Yeah, it's true. It's true. The true believers, you know, the people will flock to that kind of thing, you know. People need to read up on the apocalyptic 12th Imam cult inside the Iranian regime. Yeah, that's some tricky stuff right there, man. That is some tricky stuff right there. All right, so we did all that. This one is kind of interesting, but it's a bunch of hooey. Okay, so one of the things they're talking about, they're like, so if they break off, they say they're doing it anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and show you something here. So this, I got to make this bigger because you just can't see it that way. This is supposed to be all of, let me kill the sound on this. There's no sound to it anyway, but waves. This is supposed to be all of the ships that can't get through the the Straits of Hormuz right now. It's total BS. It's total BS. These ships, they will anchor, okay, and wait to process the oil. All right, so this isn't even the Straits of Hormuz, which is kind of funny. It's amazing what you can do with artificial intelligence. Also, oh, by the way, the Russian-Iranian naval exercises will take place tomorrow. You know, the Straits of Hormuz 9 hours ago. So they're talking about like shutting down. The Revolutionary Guard commander is closing the Straits of Hormuz. If our country leadership orders the closure, we will fully be prepared to close the Straits of Hormuz in the shortest time possible. Yeah, if you violate international freedom of navigation, you're probably going to have a bad day. So here's what they're talking about. This is the Strait of Hormuz, okay? You keep seeing all the Fox News maps, right? And it's really difficult when you see all those little blinkers are ships. Those little things are ships, right? So this is, you know, Europe, the Middle East, America's over here. It's really hard to do with all this stuff on it. But basically what you've got is, this is down here this is where the Houthis were causing all the problems. And then you have the Omani Sea, and then you have, where are we at here? The Straits of Hormuz, all right, between the United Arab Emirates, our friends, Qatar, our friends, and this is Iran, okay? And so what the Iranians have done is supposedly militarize several of these islands that are out here. And now how they can stop shipping, I'm not exactly sure. But the general idea is that they blockade. The idea is that the smart thing that they do is they blockade. They probably kind of try to blockade right there. But what happens is, I don't know where my phone is. Anyway, so there are actual like shipping lanes, okay, so that they can move through these areas. And when you talk about those little ships that were all set up over there, well, if you slide right down here, okay, see all those little dots? That means that they're anchored. They're stationary. Oh, what's this? What's all these ships out here? They're all anchored off in very sectored areas, awaiting the time to come in and out of a port so that they can get their oil or take their oil or bring their oil, that kind of thing. That's what they're showing in all these stupid little videos, trying to pretend that no one can get through the Strait of Hormuz. It's pretty insanely stupid when you think about it. And it's verified. If you go to maritime traffic, it's verified as well. Things are moving through here quite easily. There are no problems. Let's go to the chat. I'm going to go to the chat here real quick. Let's see here. People need to read up on it. We did that. I can certainly hop the DOW has a sense of humor. Oh, the Dow, and calls for any operations. Paralyzing Mantis 2. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that the Iranians are capable of lots of stuff, and that, I just don't know how our markets are. They would literally have to shut down the flow of oil coming out of the Gulf. And I don't think that that's a real thing, because just the amount of oil that you can get from all these other different little countries. Like right now, you can see this is the major oil trade right here, going all the way up into Kuwait City, into Basra area, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, it's just you can see the trade routes, the major trade routes, right? They're there for a reason. And putting a little pinch in this little spot right here, I just don't see it as affecting the Dow. So, all right, so let's go ahead and move on to looking at the military assets in the Middle East. We did that. Don't be taken, pay attention to the stupid stuff. Like this looks like, so this is all completely staged. This is actually from 2019, a B-52 bomber flying over an aircraft carrier with, other planes and stuff like. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. But talking about some of the stuff, I'm going to go ahead. They were talking about how they militarized the islands out there. So if we go, and we're going to go into, it's Kirshan Island. We're going to go to the first one here and back. Boom. We're doing this. There we go. So it's interesting. If you're not used to looking at satellite imagery, then you're going to miss a lot of stuff. Okay, they like to say things are like totally militarized, and to an extent, they have been for years. Just because there's an airfield there doesn't mean it's militarized. Okay, what you actually have to do is go look for the military assets on the airfield, of which this one has none. But that doesn't mean anything. Okay, let's come on down here to this point right here. So this right here, these are all little side. Oh, what are these? What are these guys? Oh my goodness, what are these? These are bunkers for fighting. That's exactly what they are. They encircle these islands. The Iranians have built them up. Some of them are underground, some of them are not like this. You can see there's underground access right there. Hopefully you guys, if I zoom in too far, you won't be able to see it all. Think of World War II trenches with underground access. That's what all of this is. This is just service road right here. But also you can see all these little horseshoe things. This is where things have been in the past, where it could be anything from a fuel bladder to a tank. It could be literally anything, but that's the purpose of those kind of berms. And then if you look hard enough, if you could go to the high ground, you can almost always, especially with the Iranians, you can almost find some form of underground complex. I don't know if this island has one or not. This one's kind of flat. What's this? No, that's just a quarry. Yeah, I'm not seeing one here. I'm not seeing one here. But if we jump to another one, let's see here. Let's go greater Tonom. You know what? Let's go to Syria, because it says that it's commonly known as a key position. Let's drop on over here. All right. She's going to go flying over there. There we go. Let's see what we have here. So this is Surrey Island. So this is actually they've got oil production moving in and out of here. So you can see that it still has defensive embankments here, but they're just sand. They're not built up. This is all industrial tug stuff. This is for supporting oil rigs. Yeah, this is very civilian. But let me show you something. I bet you, let's see here. I bet you if I go looking for it, it's hard to find when you're zoomed all the way out like that. They have lots of stuff. They have a giant mosque on this island. This is very, very well built up. Not seeing what I'm looking for. Maybe we need to go to a different island, because I want to be able to like show you the, you know, like this is not. So this is a modern airport. That's the transmitter for doing IFR flight. There's just too many of these islands for me to go through every single one of them for you guys, but it is very interesting. Let's see, Iran, or we did that already. We did that already, and we already did the Grok thing. Okay, so with all that said, guys, here's the thing. I think what we need to do is just kind of have a, we knew that was going to happen. Will it happen this weekend? 67% of you think that it will. I think that carrier strike group, the Ford group, is going to be in position by Sunday, and they could very easily spin up operations. Will they? Dude, there's no way to know. There's no way to know. But I would say that that's probably the earliest that they could do anything. I mean, one of the things that they don't like to do is they don't like to like pre-launch, like launch early, because now they're depending on other assets to support their aircraft from the carrier strike group. They like to do it all themselves. But here's what I can tell you: the preponderance of the massive amounts of aviation tankers that are strategically being repositioned into strategic places within the Middle East and in Europe is notable. And you guys are seeing a lot of cargo aircraft moving in and out of Europe and moving in and out of the Middle East. These are not for troops. This is all for logistical support. This is all weapons, missiles, bombs, bullets. Troops on the ground, don't count on it. I haven't seen anything that's even talking about a Marine contingent in that area. Now, we do traditionally keep one in the Mediterranean and sometimes in the Gulf, but they're kind of sitting ducks out there. So I don't foresee that to be, I don't think that's going to be. I think that'll be the left's next scream when the bombs start to fall about what's next, boots on the ground, how many Americans have to die for this government, blah, blah, blah. We're probably going to get a lot of that. All right, guys, that's going to be about it. The chat looks like the chat is kind of dead. I want to thank the 19 people that are in here right now, whatever you're doing. Do me a favor, guys, hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. If you're not a subscriber, please do. I was going to do Taco Tuesday and think of something then, but I'm not sure. That's going to be about it. Stay safe. Have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you.